Hello friends, welcome to the new topic today. In this chapter, we are going to learn about the fracture neck of femur. So what do you see in fracture neck of femur? Obviously, if this is the femoral bone, this is the head of fracture, this is the neck, okay, this is the greater trochanter, this is lesser trochanter, this is the shaft of the femur, and we have the lower end. Anyways, we are not concerned with lower end now. So the fracture neck of femur can be divided into two types. One, we have intracapsular fracture neck of femur, that is inside the capsule. This is intracapsular fracture neck of femur. Or there is extracapsular fracture neck of femur, that is outside the capsule. Okay, first we will see the differences and then we will learn each of them in detail. So if you see in the intracapsular neck of fracture of femur, this is most common in the age group of 40 to 60 years. Okay, here if you see, there is shortening and external rotation is present. Okay, and there is less chances of union. In this intracapsular fracture neck of femur, if there is complications, then there is less chances of union, and this can non-union, there is less chances of union. So most commonly the complication of this intracapsular fracture neck of femur is the patient may undergo to non-union, and this non-union will lead to avascular necrosis of femoral head. So the question is, why is there non-union in fracture intracapsular neck of femur? The non-union in fracture intracapsular neck of the femur is present because of these main problems. So here in fracture intracapsular neck of femur, the fracture is present in the joint, right? It is intracapsular, that is it is present in the joint, that is in the joint between the acetabulum and the it is present in the joint between the acetabulum and the femoral head. Okay, so it is present in the joint space, and this synovial fluid which is there in the joint space, that will prevent the callus to form. Okay, so as a result we will not have the synovial fluid, we will not have proper callus formation, and as a result this will land up in non-union, right? And second reason, if you see, there is poor blood supply. Why? Because if you see, for this head of femur, the blood supply for this head of femur is from, one, we have these medullary arteries and reticular arteries are present, and along with the nutrient arteries, all these will pass through the neck. So once if there is any fracture to this neck of femur, then the arteries cannot pass and there is no proper blood supply, there will be poor blood supply, leading to the non-union of fracture intracapsular fracture neck of femur. Okay, so this is about fracture neck of femur intracapsular. We will learn in detail the extra points also, but give me a second. Then we also have extracapsular fracture or trochanteric fracture neck of femur. It is a fracture which is joining the greater trochanter with lesser trochanter, and that is the reason why we call it as trochanteric fracture or extracapsular fracture neck of femur. Among these both, this extracapsular fracture neck of femur is more common, and it occurs in age group more than 70 years. Here there is more shortening. Remember, there is shortening and external rotation is present in both, but shortening and external rotation in extracapsular fracture neck of femur or in trochanteric fracture neck of femur is more when compared to the intracapsular fracture neck of femur, and this also have more chances of union. This extracapsular fracture neck of femur easily unites. Okay, even if it unites, if you see the complication, it might lead to malunion as the complication. So this thing you should remember. In intracapsular fracture neck of femur, there is increased chances of non-union. In extracapsular fracture neck of femur, there is increased chances of malunion. Okay, so this is the differences between these two, which is intracapsular fracture neck of femur and extracapsular or fracture neck of femur, also called as trochanteric fracture. Right now, then let us now learn a few points about intracapsular fracture neck of femur first. Okay, so if you see this intracapsular fracture neck of femur, okay, we have different classifications for this intracapsular fracture neck of femur. So what are they? The classifications which we have for intracapsular fracture neck of femur include, we have Gardner's classification. Okay, what do you see in this Gardner's classification? In Gardner's classification, the relationship of trabeculae is noted in this Gardner's classification. In intracapsular fracture neck of femur, the classifications are, first classification is Gardner's classification. Here the relationship of trabeculae is noted. So we will see what is this Gardner's classification. Okay, so here this is one. The one is there is incomplete trabeculae, incomplete fracture, and trabeculae are lateralized. See, the fracture is not complete, there is only small fracture fragment, and because of that fracture fragment the trabeculae are lateralized. Normally the trabeculae should be like this, but here the trabeculae are lateralized because of the incomplete fracture. This is called as Gardner's type 1, where trabeculae are lateralized because of incomplete fracture. Then we have type 2, where in this the fracture is complete. See, this is the complete fracture which you see, but if you see the all the trabeculae, they are aligned, right? This blue colored lines are trabeculae. Here all the trabeculae are aligned. This is type 2, where there is complete undisplaced fracture and all the trabeculae are aligned properly. So this is type 2. Then we have type 3. In type 3, if you see the this is partially displaced. So if you see there is small displacement here, right, and the trabeculae are malaligned. So in type 3 Gardner's fracture, these type 3 Gardner's fracture are partially displaced and the trabeculae are malaligned. Then we have type 4 Gardner's fracture. Here if you see they are completely displaced. See, one is coming over the other. So this in type 4 the trabeculae are completely displaced and the head aligns with the acetabulum, but the neck does not align with the acetabulum. In type 4 the head will align with the acetabulum, but the neck does not align with the acetabulum. That is type 4 Gardner's fracture. Then that is one type of fracture which is Gardner's fracture. The second type of fracture which we have here is called as Powell's fracture. So what does this Powell's fracture indicate? So in Powell's fracture, what do you see? Powell's fracture is again of 3 types and it depends upon the angle of the greater trochanter with the horizontal line. Okay, the angle of the greater trochanter with the horizontal line, if it is less than 30 degrees, then that is angle 1. If it is from 30 to 50 degrees, then we call it as angle 2. Sorry, grade 2. If it is more than 50 degrees, then we call it as grade 3. Okay, so this is very important. Now, among these two, which fracture is unfavorable fracture? Obviously, as this angle increases, the unfavorability increases. So this phase 3 is an unfavorable fracture. Okay, it has poorer prognosis. Why does it has poorer prognosis and why is it unfavorable? Because of increased chances of displacement. This is unfavorable and has poorer prognosis. Whereas this Powell's fracture, if you see Powell's classification grade 1, it is horizontal and it has better prognosis, and this has more chances of compression. Okay, more chances of compression are present in type 1, whereas more chances of displacement are present in type 3. Unfavorability and poor prognosis is present in type 3. So this is Powell's classification. Okay, after Powell's classification, the next type of classification is we have anatomical classification of fracture neck of femur. So what do you see in anatomical classification of fracture neck of femur? So here the classification is based on the anatomy, right? We have 3 different types of anatomical anatomical classification of fracture neck of femur. So one is subcapital fracture. If you see, this subcapital fracture is the most common type. Okay, and that is, this is the capit is head, right? Sub is below, just below the head. So this is the head of the femur, and just below the head we have the fracture line, and that is called as subcapital fracture. And this subcapital fracture has the worst prognosis among different types. Okay, why does it has worst prognosis? Because it will result in avascular necrosis of head of femur. So because it results in avascular necrosis of head of femur, it has the worst prognosis. Okay, that is anatomical classification. Next we have transcervical type. What does this transcervical type include? The name says trans is through, the cervical is neck. So here the fracture line is present through the neck. So this transcervical type is most common type which you see in children. Okay, then you have the next type which is called as basicervical type. Basicervical type, the name itself says basi is base, cervical is neck, that is it is present at the base of the neck. Okay, this basicervical type has the best prognosis among all the types of all these fractures according to anatomical classification. Right, now let us see how the what is the most common type of fracture in adults. That is subcapital fracture is the most common fracture, followed by transcervical fracture, followed by intertrochanteric fracture. Okay, so next let us now learn about one more classification which is available for fracture neck of femur, but that is for children. That is called as Delbert classification for pediatric fracture neck of femur. We have Delbert classification for pediatric fracture neck of femur. So what do you see in this Delbert classification for pediatric fracture neck of femur? This Delbert classification has 4 major types. It has 4 major types. One we call it as transepiphyseal. Okay, the first type is transepiphyseal. What do you see in transepiphyseal? Here the fracture line is along the epiphysis. Second we have transcervical. So in this the the fracture line is along the neck of the femur. Then third type we have cervicotrochanteric, where the fracture line is along the base of the cervix, that is between the neck and the trochanter. Okay, then the fourth type is intertrochanteric. Okay, these are the different types of fractures which you see in Delbert classification for fracture neck of femur. So if you see what is the most common type of fracture which you see here, most commonly transcervical fracture is most common, followed by cervicotrochanteric fracture which is most common, followed by intertrochanteric fracture which is again followed by transepiphyseal fracture. So this is how the fracture neck of femur in the pediatrics, that is Delbert classification. Now how are you going to treat this fracture neck of femur? So treatment of fracture neck of femur, for this you will have to do an X-ray. So once you do an X-ray, then you will divide the fracture into, you will see the different types of fracture, whether it is extracapsular fracture, or you will also see whether it is extracapsular or intracapsular fracture. Right, then once you found out that it is extracapsular fracture, obviously it is intertrochanteric fracture. So in such situations what do? You will have to do, because it is intertrochanteric, you can try for closed reduction and internal fixation. For this closed reduction and internal fixation, we can use either a dynamic hip screw can be used, or you can use proximal femoral nail. Okay, we can do closed reduction and internal fixation, and here you can do either dynamic hip screw or proximal femoral nail, or dynamic hip screw can be done. Then that is for extracapsular. Then if it is intracapsular fracture neck of femur, for this you will have to see the age of the patient. If the age of the patient is, if in any case the age of the patient is less than, if the age of the patient is, okay, if any case the age of the patient is less than 60 years, then you will have to do a closed reduction plus internal fixation can be tried with multiple cancellous screws. If the age of the patient is more than 60 years, then you can't try this closed reduction or internal fixation, and you will have to do a hemiarthroplasty for sure. Okay, intracapsular fracture neck of femur, if the age is less than 60 years, then you will have to do closed reduction with internal fixation with multiple cancellous screws. If the age is more than 60 years, then you will have to do hemiarthroplasty. Okay, so this is the treatment of intercapsular fracture and trochanteric fracture also. Now we will see the complications which are associated with this fracture and how are you going to treat it. We have already told you that the most common complication which you see due to intertrochanteric fracture neck of femur is malunion, right? In the complications, most common is malunion. Now the question is, how are you going to treat this malunion, right? So this malunion is treated by this way. We have the few procedures by which this non-union, the treatment of the fracture neck of femur, the most common complication is non-union. This non-union is mainly treated by these following procedures. One, you can use fibular bone grafting can be done, okay, for treatment of non-union. For treatment of non-union, we can do fibular bone grafting. Or second, we have a procedure called as Meyer's procedure. So what do you do in Meyer's procedure? In Meyer's procedure, you will take a vascularized muscle pedicle grafting using quadratus femoris. Using quadratus femoris, you will put a grafting of that muscle, and this, because that muscle quadratus femoris, it has good blood supply, so it easily increases the blood supply to the femoral head, and thus it will prevent non-union. Okay, the third type is we have something called as Powell's osteotomy. So what is Powell's osteotomy? With the help of Powell's osteotomy, what we do is vertical fracture which is unstable is converted into horizontal fracture which becomes stable. See, this is the vertical fracture. So here we will take this wedge. We will take this wedge of the bone and then we will remove this. And once you remove this, and you will soften it and you will make it in such a way that the bone becomes, the fracture line becomes horizontal. Once it becomes horizontal, it becomes a stable fracture. Okay, that is what we do in Powell's osteotomy. Then we have one more osteotomy which is called as Mac-Murray's osteotomy. Now what do you see in Mac-Murray's osteotomy? This Mac-Murray's osteotomy has a name which is given, which is called as armchair effect or biomechanical principle. This is an older technique which we would not use in this technique. What we do in this Mac-Murray's osteotomy is, we will first, this is the fracture line, right? So what we do is we will remove or cut this part. See, this is the one which is fractured. This is fractured part. Okay, fractured line. So along with this fracture line, this is the fracture line. Now along with this line is made. Okay, and we will cut this part of bone and then we will bypass this side and we will attach it in this way, so that this gives a good stability. But right now we are not using this Mac-Murray's procedure. So for non-union we have 4 procedures. One is fibular neck bone grafting, Meyer's procedure, Powell's osteotomy and Mac-Murray's osteotomy. Then the final part here is avascular necrosis of head. If there is avascular necrosis of head, then what is the treatment? If there is avascular necrosis of the head, then it is 2 types. The treatment is based on 2 types. If this avascular necrosis of head is in early stage, that is the head is visible or viable. Okay, if the head is viable, then we can do this Meyer's procedure. So with the help of this Meyer's procedure, we are providing blood supply to the head, and thus we can prevent the progression of the avascular necrosis of head. But if this avascular necrosis of head, already the head is collapsed, then there is no way to do anything. We will have to do total hip replacement therapy, and we will replace the head of the femur with a prosthesis, and also acetabulum is removed with the prosthesis. Okay, now if we see, we will see what should be done. So what are the different scenarios which can be given for hip arthroplasty? So we have different scenarios which are associated with this. The first is, think that a patient is less than 65 years of age and the fracture wound is less than 3 weeks of duration. If the patient is less than 65 years of age and the fracture duration is less than 3 weeks, then you can do closed reduction with internal fixation can be planned. Then in such cases, closed reduction with internal fixation with multiple screws can be planned. If in any case the closed reduction is not possible, then you can do more open reduction with internal fixation with multiple screw fixation. right? That is if the patient is less than 65 years. Just take an example that if second example is if the patient is less than 65 years only, but the fracture is more than 3 weeks. The duration of fracture has already been more than 3 weeks. In such cases, you cannot do closed reduction, because when it is more than 3 weeks, that means the callus is already formed between at the bone ends, and as a result whatever immobilization you do, these both will not unite because there are no fresh ends. So as a result, in this you will have to do osteotomy with bone grafting and fixation. In this you will have to do osteotomy with bone grafting and fixation should be done in this situation. Okay, that is second. And third clinical scenario, where the patient's age is more than 65 years and there is no arthritis. If there is more than 55 years and no arthritis, then you can do hemiarthroplasty. If the patient's age is, you can do hemiarthroplasty. Okay, plasty. Then if the patient's age is any age, but if any age, whether it is younger age or older age, but if it is associated with arthritis, then you cannot do any type of fixation or anything. Then the only treatment which is available is total hip replacement. So we have these scenarios, right? Patient less than age less than 65 years, less than 3 weeks, age less than 65 years, more than 3 weeks, then more than 65 years, and any age with arthritis. So based on that, we have the following treatment options which are available. Then for intertrochanteric fracture, there is a traction which is available, which is called as Russell's traction. This Russell's traction is mainly done for intertrochanteric fracture of femur. Okay, this is indicated in people who are more than 70 years of age. Then what are the miscellaneous tests which are important here? We will learn about these miscellaneous tests in our next class. So thank you guys for watching my lecture. Thank you.